The hospital smelled of antiseptic and faded hope, a scent Jungkook had grown to hate over the years. The fluorescent lights flickered as he navigated the familiar maze of hallways, his sneakers squeaking against the worn linoleum. His backpack hung heavy on his shoulder, the surrogacy contract tucked inside like a secret he wasn't ready to face. It was just past noon, and the weight of his morning meeting with Kim Taehyung still clung to him, those piercing eyes, that almost smile, and the sharp sting of being called a mistake. Jungkook pushed open the door to room 314, his heart clenching at the sight of his mother, Soojin, propped up in the hospital bed. She looked smaller than he remembered, her once vibrant face pale and gaunt, her dark hair thin beneath the scarf she wore to cover the effects of chemo. But her eyes lit up when she saw him, a spark of warmth that made Jungkook's chest ache. "Cookie," she said, her voice soft but steady, using the nickname that always made him feel like a kid again. "You didn't have to come right away. Junghyun said you had a big meeting." Jungkook forced a smile, dropping his backpack by the chair and pulling it close to her bedside. "It's fine, Mom. I wanted to see you." He took her hand, her skin cool and fragile beneath his fingers. "How are you feeling?" Soojin sighed, her smile tinged with exhaustion. "Like I've been hit by a truck, but the doctors say I'm stable, whatever that means." She squeezed his hand weakly. "What about you? You look distracted." Jungkook hesitated, his thumb brushing over her knuckles. He wanted to tell her everything, about the surrogacy, the money that could pay for her treatments, the terrifying billionaire who seemed to see right through him. But the words stuck in his throat. She'd worry, and the last thing she needed was more stress. "Just work stuff," he said, dodging her gaze. "The cafe's been busy, and I'm figuring some things out." Soojin's eyes narrowed, sharp despite her frailty. "Jian." "Jungkook, don't lie to your mother. I know that look." "What's going on?" Before he could answer, the door creaked open, and Junghyun poked his head in. At 16, he was all gangly limbs and messy hair, but his grin was a mirror of their mother's, bright, even in the face of hardship. "Hey, you made it." He bounded over, dropping a plastic bag of convenience store snacks onto the bed. "Got your favorite, Mom. Spicy rice cakes." Soojin laughed, a sound that eased the tightness in Jungkook's chest. "You two spoil me." She reached for the bag, but her eyes stayed on Jungkook. "Now, spill. What's got my boys so quiet?" Jungkook swallowed, his mind flashing to Taehyung's office, the sleek desk, the weight of his stare, the contract that felt like a chain and a lifeline all at once. I got a new job," he said carefully. "It pays well. Really well. Enough to cover your bills and maybe get us a better place." Junghyun's eyes widened. "No way. What kind of job?" "It's complicated," Jungkook said, his voice faltering. "A private contract. I can't talk about it yet." Soojin's brow furrowed, her maternal instincts kicking in. "Jungkook, if it's something dangerous." "It's not," he cut in, too quickly. "It's just a lot of responsibility. But I can handle it. I promise." She studied him, her gaze searching, and Jungkook felt exposed, like she could see the truth he wasn't ready to share. "You're always taking care of us," she said softly. "But who's taking care of you?" The question hit harder than he expected, stirring a hollow ache in his chest. He thought of Taehyung's cold voice, his unexpected curiosity, the way his presence seemed to pull Jungkook in and push him away all at once. "I'm fine, Mom," he said, forcing a smile. "I've got this." Junghyun, oblivious to the tension, plopped onto the bed and started unpacking the snacks. You better not be doing anything shady, Taehyung. I'm not bailing you out if you get arrested, Jungkook laughed, ruffling his brother's hair. Like you could afford my bail. The moment of levity felt like a lifeline, pulling him back from the edge of his spiraling thoughts. But as he sat there, watching his mother nibble on a rice cake and Junghyun ramble about his latest art project, Jungkook's mind wandered back to Taehyung. The billionaire's words echoed, "People will watch you, judge you," and now, in the quiet of the hospital room, Jungkook felt the first stirrings of doubt. Could he really handle Taehyung's world? The scrutiny, the pressure, the man himself. His phone buzzed in his pocket, and he pulled it out, his heart skipping at the sight of an unknown number. The message was short, formal, and unmistakably Taehyung's tone. "Medical screening tomorrow, 7 a.m. My driver will pick you up. Don't be late." Jungkook's grip tightened on the phone, his mother's words echoing in his head. "Who's taking care of you?" He didn't have an answer, not yet. But as he looked at Sojin's tired smile and Junghyun's hopeful eyes, he knew one thing for certain: he'd do whatever it took to keep his promise to them. Even if it meant facing Kim Taehyung's storm head-on. The medical clinic was a world apart from the hospital Jungkook had visited the day before. Where his mother's ward was worn and overcrowded, this private facility was a sterile palace of glass and chrome, tucked away in a quiet corner of Gangnam. The air smelled faintly of lavender, a manufactured calm that did nothing to ease the knot in Jungkook's stomach as he sat in the examination room, dressed in a thin paper gown that left him feeling more exposed than ever. The clock on the wall read 7:05 a.m. Taehyung's driver had been punctual, delivering Jungkook to the clinic with military precision. Now, waiting for the doctor, Jungkook's fingers fidgeted with the edge of the gown, his mind racing. The surrogacy process was becoming real. Blood tests, scans, and a barrage of questions about his health and lifestyle. It was overwhelming, but the thought of the money, of his mother's hospital bills finally paid, kept him anchored. The door opened, and Jungkook's breath caught as Kim Taehyung stepped inside, not a doctor. The billionaire looked out of place in the clinical setting, his navy suit sharp against the sterile white walls, his presence as commanding as ever. His dark eyes swept over Jungkook, lingering on the paper gown before meeting his gaze. "You're here," Jungkook said, his voice betraying his surprise. "I thought this was just medical stuff." Taehyung raised an eyebrow, leaning against the wall with a casual elegance that made the room feel smaller. "It's my heir. I oversee everything." His tone was matter-of-fact, but there was a weight to it, a reminder of the stakes. "Besides, after yesterday's leak, I'm not taking chances." Jungkook's stomach twisted, recalling the advisor's panicked interruption about the board and the surrogacy leak. "Is it bad?" he asked, his voice quieter than he intended. Taehyung's jaw tightened, a flicker of something, anger, maybe, crossing his face. "Someone's digging. They know about the surrogacy, which means they'll know about you soon enough." He stepped closer, his gaze intense. "That's why this needs to be flawless. No weaknesses. No mistakes." Jungkook bristled, the word mistake stinging like a slap. "I'm not a weakness," he said, his voice steadier now. "I'm here, doing what you asked." "What more do you want?" Taehyung's lips twitched, that faint, almost dangerous smile returning. "I want to know you can handle this, Jin. This process, my world, it's not for the faint-hearted." Before Jungkook could retort, the door opened again, and a doctor in a crisp white coat entered, clipboard in hand. She greeted Taehyung with a deferential nod before turning to Jungkook. "Mr. Jian, we'll start with a physical exam, followed by blood work and an ultrasound to assess your suitability. Any questions?" Jungkook shook his head, his cheeks warming under Taehyung's unrelenting stare. The doctor gestured for him to lie back on the examination table, and Jungkook complied, his heart pounding as the cold gel was applied to his abdomen for the ultrasound.